Namaste everyone. I am Dr. MAYURVkaku. I am a neurosurgeon and a yoga therapist. In addition to that, I am a culture of health consultant where we talk about how to develop culture of health in your institution, in your organization, in your industry, so that at long term, we are protecting the consumer health, we are protecting the employee health, community health, and environmental health. Today's topic is about similar topic as we are doing in last few days, coming from unhealthy relationships to what is love to today, what and how do we handle emotional crisis. So emotional crisis as such is a very important aspect which happens to many of us, and many of us find it difficult to handle. Now, how do we see the emotional crisis? Emotional crisis is, I have discussed this before also in a short video on YouTube, but emotional crisis where, you either lose a job or you lose somebody who's very close to you, or you have gone through a disaster or a natural disaster or industrial disaster, that recession and all these things. These all things, or financial problems, all these things come under emotional crisis. And many of us, we don't know how to how to handle this and how to come out of this quickly. What happens is many of us, we get stuck in it for years and years together, and then suddenly we come to know that we have spoiled so many things around us. For example, like many of us suppress, then many of us express, and many of us escape the problems which are there, the emotional crisis which happen. Now, when we are doing it consciously, okay, when we are doing it consciously, then it is kind of, we are doing it because we don't want to get caught. We don't want to handle those emotions in front of anybody. Okay, and here, what you should do actually is express. You should not escape, or you should not suppress or repress. What you should do is you should express your emotion. Now, whom will you express your emotion? You should have somebody who is close to you, or else you should have a mentor, or you should have uh, your parents, your spouse, your children, with whom you are emotionally nicely bonded, and or else you have to seek professional help. Okay. Now, means you should not avoid the social situations. Where many people, what they do is they avoid social situations, and what they do is they just try to get away from everything. Okay. Instead of that, what we should do is we should go out. We should learn some new activity. We should become close to people, not in terms of physical intimacy. Physical intimacy, that's one aspect, but not like that. Closer means it's about understanding and expressing emotions without any prejudices. That's very, very important. Okay. Now, for example, somebody is losing a job. What happens? Because they are losing a job, they will feel very, very inferior. They will feel fear. They will feel insecure. And because of that, what is going to happen? They are going to go into the negative spiral of emotions. Now, out of that, what one should do? One should develop the courage to find another job. Now, that courage, what it will do? It will help us to go towards expressing our capabilities, expressing our capacities, and so on and so forth. Okay, so instead of feeling bad about I lost a job, what I will do? I will find out what are my core capabilities. I will find out that what I have become over a period of time when I am handling a job, and then we will be able to come out of it. Now, this handling emotional crisis, as the name suggests, it is an emotional crisis. It is not an intellectual crisis. So what are we supposed to do? We are supposed to
not solve it with respect to intellect. We are supposed to solve it with respect to emotion. So we should not try to intellectualize, or hey, this happened because of that happened, because of that happened. No, why there is emotional deficit, or why there is a deep negative emotion. So all these things have to be handled with emotion rather than with intellect. Whenever you put intelligence in unnecessary logical explanation in emotional concepts or emotional aspects, it's just going to create further disaster. Okay, so that is where I think we should understand, and we should go in an emotional manner. We should find the emotional hook. We should find the emotional aspect of all these things, and we should improve upon it. Now, means as when we are going through emotional crisis, we will definitely have fear, we will have anger, we will have resentment. All these things will be there. What we are supposed to do is we are supposed to develop that our own self-esteem, our own confidence about things, and we should try to feel that okay, whatever has happened, it has happened for a reason, and we should come back to a feeling of improving ourselves. We should come back to the feeling of gaining more and more mastery over our emotions. We should develop compassion towards our own suffering, and we should develop compassion towards, maybe see, emotional crisis is bilateral sometimes. So maybe we should develop compassion towards suffering of our opposite person also. And at the same time, what will happen is, when we develop this compassion, gratitude, and uh, mastering our own emotions, we will be able to come out, we will be able to develop peace and calmness within us, and through that we will be able to you know uh, we will be able to become better. So what I feel is that whenever you develop an emotional crisis, should try to find the best out of it. The best out of it may not look best right now, but over a period of time, you will realize that, oh, this happened for the best of my life. It happened best for my own growth, and it happened best because it's kind of expansion, cleansing of consciousness. Emotional crisis, I consider it's kind of cleansing of consciousness. When we let go of this emotional crisis, when we come out of this emotional crisis, we will be like newly bathed baby, like that it will be. So that is what it is. Thank you very much, everybody. I hope that this interesting aspect of yes, our spiritual sadhana will definitely help us in handling and overcome the emotional crisis. The spiritual side, as Shiv Shankarji has rightly mentioned, the spiritual side is about feeling oneness with everyone. Aham Brahmasmi, Tattvamasi, Prajnanam Brahma, Ayamatma Brahma, Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma. And one more Mahavakya, which I use many number of times, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. So everyone is my family member. So the emotional crisis, whichever we feel, whichever has happened or which happens, if we consider that in this all big scheme of things, we are all interconnected. We are we can't we can't isolate ourselves from others. And at that time, we will be able to be graceful, be grateful, and that is the highest level of spirituality, that we are able to go beyond our limitations as human beings, our shallowness, our selfishness, and we are able to bond together, we are able to grow together. That is the most important aspect. So spiritual sadhana, as Shankarji told, it's not just an individual process. It's a community process. It's a collective consciousness. That is where this whole thing, the Maharshi effect, the Brahma Muhurt Yoga, everything has come into place. I request all of you to share this video as much as possible with people whom you think have been going through emotional crisis. And I request all of you to continue on the path of Brahma Muhurt Yoga, invite more and more people on the path of Brahma Muhurt Yoga, so that we develop that expansive collective consciousness. Thank you very much, everybody. Always remember that all of us have to be healthy, happy, and prosperous together. None of us should suffer. All of us have to live in harmony and peace along with all other plants and animals. Have a nice day. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Dhanyawad, Dr.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Namaste.
धन्यवाद
Namaste.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. Dhanyawad.
Namaste.
Jai
Namaste.
Shri Krishna.